Have you ever noticed how fast fear spreads? It starts with one sentence, one headline, one comment someone makes in a meeting. What if things get worse? What if the economy collapses? What if we lose everything? And suddenly, that one thought starts moving through a group of people like wildfire. You hear it at the dinner table, you hear it at work, you hear it on the news. And before long, everyone is imagining the same thing, the worst possible outcome. This pattern has a name. It's called catastrophizing. And once it starts spreading through a group of people, it becomes incredibly powerful. Welcome to the Kathie Owen Perspective. My name is Kathie Owen, and for many years, my work is focused on observing human patterns under pressure, the behaviors people fall into when uncertainty hits their lives. Sometimes I see these patterns inside leadership teams, sometimes inside organizations going through change, and even sometimes inside families, relationships, or communities. And what fascinates me is how predictable human behavior becomes when uncertainty appears. People start scanning for danger. They start imagining worst case scenarios. And fear begins to move through groups of people faster than facts. I want you to think about how often you see this happen. A story appears in the news, someone posts something online, a rumor spreads at work, and suddenly people start talking about what might go wrong. Not what's happening, what might happen. And once that conversation starts, it begins to shape how people feel. Anxiety spreads, trust drops, people become defensive, they start protecting themselves, all because uncertainty entered the room. Yeah, uncertainty, the bad guy. Early in my career, I remember being very upset about something that happened at work. To me, it felt like a huge problem. I was frustrated. I was worried. I was convinced something terrible was about to happen. And one of the executives I worked with looked at me very calmly and said something that stuck with me for years. He said, "Don't worry, in 2 weeks, it'll be something else." At that time, I thought he was brushing me off, but he was not. He was pointing out something incredibly simple and incredibly true. Most of the things people panic about in the moment don't last very long. The headlines change, the issue fades, something new captures everyone's attention. If you watch the news cycle, you see it all the time. 1 week, everyone is certain something terrible is going to happen. 2 weeks later, the entire conversation has moved on. But while people are inside that moment of uncertainty, it feels real. It feels very urgent, and it feels like a catastrophe. So the problem isn't uncertainty. Uncertainty is part of life. We are practically guaranteed uncertainty. It's always been that way. The problem is how quickly human beings assume uncertainty means disaster. Our brains are just wired that way. And when one person starts imagining disaster, something interesting happens. Other people begin imagining it too. Fear spreads, not because the facts changed, because the emotional signal changed. This is especially powerful inside organizations. When leadership becomes anxious about uncertainty, the entire workplace feels it. People start whispering, rumors spread, policies become stricter. Insert eye roll. And trust begins to erode. And often the people at the top don't even realize they're doing it. They're simply reacting to uncertainty. But their reaction sends a signal through the entire system, and everyone else starts reacting too. It takes a very grounded person to sit in uncertainty without immediately reacting to it. They need to pause. They need to observe. They need to let the moment unfold before assuming the worst. That kind of steadiness is rare. But when people develop it, something remarkable happens. They stop spreading fear. They start spreading stability. and the people around them begin to feel calmer too. So, uncertainty will always exist in business, in families, in relationships, and in the world around us. But the real question isn't whether uncertainty appears. The real question is this: what do we do when it does? Do we assume catastrophe, or do we stay steady long enough for clarity to emerge? Because the truth is, most of the things people panic about today will be something else in 2 weeks. All right, if you enjoyed this conversation, I've written a full article on this topic that goes deeper into the pattern of catastrophizing and how it spreads through groups of people. That blog post will also include bonus resources, and you can find the link in the description and show notes. You can also learn more about my work studying human patterns under pressure at my website. I work with leadership teams. I speak on stages about topics like Calm Down, Rhonda, and leadership under pressure. And I'm also the author of the book Human Patterns Under Pressure, which explores how human behavior shapes decisions when the stakes are high. You can find all of that at my website, www.kathieowen.com. And thank you for spending a few minutes with me today here on the Kathie Owen Perspective. I trust that you found today's episode helpful, and if you know someone who could benefit from this, please share it with them. And until next time, I will see you next time.